Hi there everyone, it's Robin Morton here from Win with Robin, and I've got a great little story for you just back from my summer vacation, and I want to tell you about me and the Ferrari Gang. Okay, a funny thing happened to us on the way home from our French vacation. We had to get a boat back from France, back over to England to cross the Channel Ferry, which if you don't know where that is, the Channel Ferry is a little bit of water that separates the United Kingdom from Europe, the bit that saved our butt in the Second World War. So we had to get a ferry journey across the English Channel and then a long drive back up to Scotland. So we arrived at the ferry terminal really early, and for some bizarre reason they put us in the exclusive VIP loading area at the port. So if you can picture this, there was us in our chunky four-wheel drive Jeep, all decked out with extra roof boxes, mountain bikes, bike carriers, bikes everywhere, spare tires, you know, the full 9 yards. We had a camping vacation chasing the Tour de France for the whole first week of the Tour de France. So there we were. My son calls it the perfect car for the zombie invasion when that kicks off, because he, typical teenager. So there we were, all around us in this VIP area there was nothing but supercars, and I'm not joking. We were surrounded by Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, there was a McLaren, and a whole bunch of beautiful Italian Ferraris. So at this point I did feel, a tiny pang of jealousy looking at these beautiful cars, and I couldn't help wishing that I had at least washed our bulletproof battle wagon before we'd arrived at the port. But anyway, they waved us on to this huge cross-channel ferry a whole hour before all the regular vehicles were allowed on. And my son said afterwards he felt like a gangster as we drove up this on-ramp in the sunshine, late afternoon sunshine, 17 supercars and one Jeep. So we paraded up through in front of all these other gawping holidaymakers. We just felt great. And the upshot was that we got onto the boat before everybody else, and we got into the restaurants before anybody else, and we could reserve the best reclining seats, so I could have a little sleep at some point during the crossing, because I had a 10-hour drive at the other end. So I really wasn't I wasn't complaining at this point at all. I was pretty happy, really. So because we all arrived together, the supercar drivers and ourselves, we all ended up just kind of drifting together into one group in the main kind of restaurant when we arrived. And so over the next hour or two, I was watching these guys intently and listening to everything that they were saying, because being an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for answers to why some people are more successful than others. And also in wearing my other hat, I'm a thriller writer, and so being an author, I'm a shameless eavesdropper. I love listening to other people's conversations. It's one of the best ways to get ideas for stories and characters. So this situation was a complete revelation to me, but not in the way that I thought it would be. Now these guys were certainly very different to me and to the rest of the passengers. Once the normal passengers got on board and they were all milling around us, there was a distinct difference between these guys and the rest of us. We were all suntanned. We still got a bit of suntan left. We were all suntanned and relaxed. These guys were pale and they were strained looking. We all had, partners, wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, children all around us. These guys were all on their own. We were chatting and we were laughing and enjoying ourselves. These guys were working their cell phones like their lives depended on it. Now, I'll admit that the cell phone reception in France is pretty patchy. I basically had a whole 2 weeks off grid, which was fantastic from my point of view because I work online all the time. But these guys, you know, they were working their cell phones like their lives depended on it at this point. So the other thing became very, very obvious. We were all on vacation. These guys were all still working. Now I ended up talking to the Ferrari group of drivers for a while, and I found that none of them were actually owned these beautiful cars they were driving. They were all basically high-class delivery drivers. Their job was to source quality cars in Italy, mostly to order, customer order, and then drive them back to England to deliver them to the customers. They knew a lot, let's be honest, about Ferraris, and that's all they could talk about. You know, they could talk about the nth degree of detail about the different colour of piping you might get round the leather seats, driver's seats. You know, that's all they seemed to talk about. But, you know, in conversation I found out they were miserable. They were all miserable. They were exhausted, and they told me they didn't even make much money. The profit margin was tiny on these cars because of exchange rate differences, you know, in Europe, and because they would be haggled down in price. Most of them were part owners of a larger business, and they all hated their jobs. Their only pleasure, they were telling me, was that every so often they could get away for a few days and go down and pick up these cars in Europe in person, pretend that they owned them, and have a couple of days driving them back, pretending they were on vacation. And when they went away, there'd always be problems back home with staff not turning up, pipes leaking in buildings, deals going sour, all the usual things with a bricks and mortars business. And then when eventually it got round to, you know, they looked at me and asked me, you know, what I did for a living, it was them that ended up being jealous of me. And, you know, I would not have believed that 2 hours beforehand, driving up that on-ramp in style onto the ferry. They were envious of me. And in fact, one of them is even talking about he's giving some serious consideration to joining my gold saving business with a view to packing in his job by 2020. So, you know, that would be a very interesting conversation, and I think we're going to do some business together. But why am I telling you all this? You're probably thinking by now, what is Robin on about? Well, it's basically to demonstrate that you should never be jealous of what other people are doing, because you never really know what's inside other people's heads. And, you know, don't underestimate how far you've already come with your online business, because sometimes, you know, we're sitting at home working away, it's a lonely old business online sometimes, and you forget, you know, what you actually have. You know, you don't have that daily commute, and you've either got already watching this, or you're intending to have your own online business. And, you know, that's a business that gives you time freedom. It gives you an income potential that is unlimited, and you don't have any staff to worry about. You don't have any buildings problems. You don't have that Monday morning feeling, that grinding commute to and from work every day. You don't have any of that. You don't have a business that you feel like you have to escape from, like the Ferrari Gang that I met. And you have a business that could allow you to buy your very own supercar, if that's what floats your boat. So congratulate yourself on how far you've come. Don't look at these guys in the swanky cars and feel that you're second rate, because you don't know what's going on inside their heads. Okay, so, and you know, you'll find a link somewhere around this video. Click that and you can start your own online business for just $1, and you know, the potential is unlimited. So today, just relax, don't worry, and take it easy. And that's all from Robin at Win with Robin. If you got any value from that at all, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with your friends, tell everybody about it. Come and visit me on www.winwithrobin.com. Subscribe to my newsletter, and you get a free book as well, and you'll get some daily tips that you can use every single day, practical tips, hacks and tricks that will help you to make a success of your online business, so you can go on holiday and really enjoy it. So that's all from me. Take care now, keep smiling.